everybody, and welcome. Please have a seat. You guys all ready? Really? Are you guys all ready? Better. So, by the way, for the record, today is a celebration. If you feel like hooting and hollering for the person that you're here for, don't hold back. Good afternoon, everybody. It is my privilege as president of this fine college to welcome you on behalf of the Board of Trustees, faculty, staff, the foundation, our alumni to the 51st commencement of Greenfield Community College, hashtag the graduation of the great class of 2014. I would like to introduce you to the platform party from your left to right. Professor Sharon Roth, Vice Chair of Higher Education, Representative Paul Mark, Dean Mary Ellen Feidenkevitz, Chair of the Board of Trustees Robbie Cohn, outgoing Student Senate President Kia Burton McLaughlin, our Chief Student and Academic Affairs Officer Cher Huska, Student Speaker Michael Lewis, Professor Abby Jenks, Professor Peter Rosnick, now you got it, Dean Leo Huang, and Registrar Holly Fitzpatrick. I would also like to introduce GCC Foundation Board President Diane Esser and representing the Department of Higher Education Associate Commissioner Katie Abel. Chris Shores has been working for the Recorder. He graduated UMass, came to work here at the Recorder, has been assigned to cover education and healthcare in particular. He has the audacity to leave the community off to pursue his dreams, so he'll be leaving off to the University of Wisconsin. Chris, we wish you the very best. Let me also take this moment to thank those who have worked so hard to make this celebration come together. Mary McKenty, Jake Powers, Laura Earle, Kathy Molino, Tim Shippey, Jeff Marks, and the entire physical plant staff, Ryan Aiken, Gary Long, Fraser Stowe, the student marshals, public safety, the bookstore folks, Fitzfolk Catering, Kathleen Keogh, Judy Raper, Brian Smith, Judy Green Corvée, Colleen Caffrey, Deb Chown, Anna Berry, and Liz Carroll. It does take a village, and we appreciate all of their efforts. It would also be impossible to imagine today's celebration without recognizing the folks who have helped you to get here. The truth is that you would not be sitting here today were it not for your moms and dads, aunts, uncles, and cousins, grandmas and granddads, sons and daughters, husbands, wives, partners, friends, and other significant people in your lives. They were sometimes seen and sometimes not, sometimes silent and sometimes not, sometimes sympathetic and sometimes not so much. But they were always there for you because of their love for you. Please stand and by your applause, shouts, and hollers, let them know just how much you appreciate all of them. Thank you. So in addition to presentations by Professor Jenks and student Michael Lewis, I also have the privilege of sharing a few thoughts with you in honor of your achievement. Getting an education at GCC is like buying a suit from a tailor and not one just off the rack. I loved hearing Dr. William H. Cosby Jr., yes, Bill Cosby, say those words a few years ago. But they carry more weight and meaning for me now, given the number of challenges facing education today. You get the metaphor, right? When you go to a tailor, he gets to know you, measures your arm length, maybe the left is longer than your right, your legs, your waist, understanding that every body is different. The best fit is specific to the person in the mirror. When you buy something off the rack, like most of us do, you go to a group size and you hope that it is close to what fits you. Of course, the tailor costs more, but the fit and the outcomes are better. Off the rack is not form-fitted, but far more affordable. Whether it is online, on campus, at a clinical site, a permaculture garden, or down in Haiti, a GCC student receives personalized attention and at an affordable price. At a time when education is increasingly about one size fitting all and decreasingly about the individual student, Greenfield Community College stands for something better. Honored students, you have learned a great deal here at GCC. You have studied math, science, and the English language. You can now communicate more effectively, think more critically, and solve problems more creatively. You have learned about other people, other cultures, and you have learned more about yourself. Most of all, dear graduates, you have learned how to learn. I am not alone in my respect for your hard work and the quality of a GCC education. Talk to the admission folks at Mount Holyoke and Smith, UMass and Westfield State, Mass Art and RISD. Talk to the HR departments at Bay State, Cooley, or Charlene Manor, the public schools, the local town first responders, or the banks and the manufacturers of our community. Oh, and then you could ask the President of the United States of America what he thinks of this college's renewable energy program. Ladies and gentlemen, GCC's faculty and staff love teaching, learning, and students just a tad more than even their subject area. Although they are trained scientists, lawyers, nurses, doctors, writers, and artists, they see themselves as teachers first. Each has come to this college because of you. It was the faculty and staff who saw your potential often before you did, and together you have worked hard to achieve it. So, dear students, please join with me, and with your applause, let your teachers know just how much you appreciate the hard work and the passion that they have invested in each of you. So, at a time when education's key stakeholders have seemingly confused standardization with standards, and when the trendy gets confused with trends, GCC strives for something better. At a time when education is increasingly off the rack, where one size must fit all, getting an education at GCC is indeed just like buying a suit from a tailor. That experience and those skills will serve you well as you all continue your journey. The second comment that Dr. Cosby made that day was that without community colleges, there would be no democracy. He was right then, and oh, how important that comment is today. I am sure that many of you know that I, too, am a proud community college graduate. Some also know that my dad came to this country from Poland, and like the millions of immigrants who helped to build, defend, and shape our nation, he came through the doors of Ellis Island. Millions of immigrants have traveled to these United States by steamship, especially so during the 20s and 30s. The journey was long, arduous, yet hopeful. After your ship had docked on Ellis Island, you walked up the building and you were asked a series of medical and political questions. Your name might get changed for expediency. If approved, you then walk up a flight of steps into the great room. I had the opportunity to visit Ellis Island just after the museum opened. I remember walking up those very same steps that my father walked as a child. My knees buckled as I thought of his experience and the experience of my grandmother and the tens of thousands of border crossers eager to create a better life for themselves and their families. As you get to the top of those stairs and enter the great room, you look to the right and you can see the magnificence of the Statue of Liberty. Oh my gosh, it is such a powerful symbol. There she stands, holding out the golden lamp for all. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. The wretched refuse of your teeming shore, send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. What do those words mean to our nation today? So you walk up the steps and you see the statue on the right, and then your eyes turn to the left and you can see the equally magnificent skyline of New York City. Aside from the fact that there are too many Yankee fans in that city, you can feel its power as a symbol of opportunity from the eyes of the new immigrants ready to work hard to achieve their dreams. It must have been truly awesome to look to the right and see the statue, and then you look to the left and behold the land of opportunity. Between the two lies a great body of water where the Hudson River and the Atlantic Ocean meet. It is in that distance where democracy is truly found. Emily Dickinson wrote that there is no frigate like a book. She was referring to the ways in which books transport us from place and time. GCC is that transformational. There is no more powerful vessel to transport one from that statue to a better life more profoundly and sustainably than education. At a time when the middle class of our nation is eroding, when far too many hardworking Americans don't have enough to eat, when the median CEO salary is $10 million a year, while the average worker's salary is about 257 times less, when economic and social mobility are in decline, here at this college, in this community, faculty and staff, the Commonwealth, our foundation and your families together build that vessel for all who seek the journey, for all who yearn to breathe free. Greenfield Community College is democracy's vessel. I first discovered The Greatest Treasure, a short essay written by Catherine Ingram about 15 years ago. It is the story of a young man who grew up in poverty and how he then seeks great treasures in ancient Cairo. In closing, I would like to share an adaptation of that parable, The Greatest Treasure. So not too long ago, a GCC student sat in your chair under this tent about to graduate. He had struggled to make ends meet all of his life, depending on financial aid to get him through. On the eve of graduation, that student had a dream, a vision, really. In it, he saw himself walking on a street in a major American city. The buildings were tall and glistening, treasures in and of themselves. In his vision, he saw himself living in a penthouse of one of those buildings, floor-to-ceiling windows surrounding the two-floor condominium. He owned another home on the ocean's edge, cars, boats, and planes at his disposal. He had all the riches a man could want. It was also in his dream that one day he would work for this one particular company and this one particular CEO. That CEO was considered one of the world's most influential leaders. So even as he sat under this tent at his graduation, he was thinking only of those great treasures, one day to be his own. Soon after, he set out on his journey to achieve his dream. After a few years, another degree, and working up the ladder of success, he finally was to meet with that CEO for a personal conversation. As he entered the boardroom, the CEO was sitting, waiting for him. All of his dreams were now coming true. He sat down at the table and looked into the eyes of the president of that company. "Good morning," he said, sitting down next to her. "Ever since I was a struggling student, I dreamt of great treasures and wealth, living in this city and working for you." The CEO was silent for what seemed like hours. Her gray hair spoke of the years of experience that framed the wisdom seen in her eyes. She looked at the young man as if she had known him all of his life. She started to speak. Her voice was clear, gentle, and strong. "It's strange," the CEO said to the young man. "I too had a dream. I dreamt of a young man who also struggled all of his life and who also graduated from a community college. In my dream," she said, "that man looked exactly like you." "Please go on," implored the young man, certain that she was about to reveal to him all of the secrets of the universe about success and the acquisition of great wealth. The CEO then proceeded to describe her dream, her vision. I dreamt that I had found a community of hardworking people who cared deeply about each other and who worked shoulder to shoulder, side by side. It was a place where you can drive through beautiful farmland and rolling hills, canoe along the river that ran through it, eagles perched above, where you can saunter through the woods, crunching leaves in every step, a community where art and culture matter as much as good jobs at good wages, where a sustainable economy was as essential as access to quality health care, a community where vocation and avocation can be one, where the poets and the artists were also the bankers and the manufacturers, where collaboration was not a strategic plan, but a 200-year-old way of life, a community where social, economic, and environmental justice were embraced as one. You see, said the sage CEO, the greatest treasure I could dream of was found in your community and with you. The young man, now sitting back in his chair, began to realize what that very wise leader was saying and trying to teach him. He stood, shook her hand, thanked her, walked to the door, and then prepared for his journey back home. Dear graduates, choose your dreams wisely. What you dream, you will soon begin to act on, and what you do is who you are. The American dream needs an update, and you are up to that task. It is, after all, our dream. Could it be that the very best of our nation's values and ideals exist here in our community as a model for America? Could it be that embedded deep within each of us, we find the one place where democracy truly resides? Students, it very well could be that the greatest treasures are those that are not out there. Maybe the greatest treasures you could dream of are right here, inside, and in your own backyard. As you all know, poet, author, and activist Maya Angelou died this past week. It is not the sorrow of her passing that we will remember, but the spirit that she brought to your graduation. So she sends this gift from her poem, A Brave and Startling Truth. We, this people on a small and lonely planet, traveling through casual space past loose stars, across the way of indifferent suns, to a destination where all signs tell us it is possible and imperative that we learn a brave and startling truth. And when we come to it, we, this people on this wayward floating body, created on this earth of this earth, have the power to fashion for this earth a climate where every man and every woman can live freely without sanctimonious piety, without crippling fear. When we come to it, we must confess that we are the possible. We are the miraculous and the true wonder of this world. That is when, and only when, we come to it. To the great class of 2014, you are the possible, you are the miraculous, and you have been our greatest treasure. Congratulations to all, and to all Godspeed. It is now my pleasure, thank you. It is now my pleasure to introduce Kia Burton McLaughlin. Kia is majoring in human services and the outgoing president of Student Senate, who will be graduating this summer with an associate's degree in liberal arts. Kia has been a vital and active member of the GCC community for the past 3 years. She has been the student representative on the diversity committee, a member of the Stir All Club, a member of the Martin Luther King day planning committee and a work study for the Women's Resource Center and the Director of Student Development. Kia also served as a summer associate as part of the Campus Compact AmeriCorps program, helping to transition students who face significant obstacles accessing education to college. Following that experience, Kia served as a peer mentor for a student success course offered to those women who are working to complete their GEDs and then come to college. Kia received the Newman Civic Fellows Award and then the Dean Sullivan Award. The GCC community has been very fortunate to have such a committed and inspiring student leader among us these past 3 years. Here to introduce your student speaker is Kia Burton McLaughlin.
I have the honor today to introduce a special person to me. His name is Michael Lewis. Michael grew up in Springfield. During his high school time, his ability and talents on the football field have earned him a place in the East Longmeadow High School Athletic Hall of Fame. Michael went on to serve our country in the military and is a proud Marine. His return to the Valley gave him an opportunity to forge a new path where he came to GCC as part of his journey. Michael Lewis is a force to be reckoned with. While his time here, everybody knew his name. And I remember when I first started, they're like, "You don't know Michael Lewis?" So I soon found out. He was an appointed member of Student Senate. He was elected twice to serve the student body as a student trustee. He's represented us across the state and every day. He co-founded the GCC Student Veterans Network, and he continues to be a voice for veterans. Michael has moved on to Elms College in his pursuit of a bachelor's degree in social work. I just want to say that it's just been an honor. When I first was approached about joining Student Senate, Michael was actually the first student I went to. And I said, "They think I should join Senate." And he's like, "What are you waiting for?" Every moment that Michael has, he always has time for students and to encourage his fellow peers to take whatever path they have in life. He's such a mentor to me, and I'm just proud to introduce him here today. Michael Lewis.
Woo-wee. Kia, thank you. Before I say anything, there's something I really need to do. Yeah, baby! Stand up! Stand up! Yeah, baby! We are graduating! Yes! Yes! There you go. Sorry. Not really, but yeah. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Kia. Thank you, all of you who are here in support of all of us who have made this journey. I had the opportunity to be orientation leader a couple of times, and one of the things I said to some of those who are sitting out here now was that y'all were rock stars. Y'all were rock stars because you took that big step to enter higher education. I told you that you are to be commended. And I also told you that it's not an easy journey at all. You found out that I wasn't lying. Now, I look at you and I say, you and I are superstars. We have completed this phase of the journey. We have graduated. We have come through all kinds of trials and tribulations, for lack of better words, to get to this point. You should be proud. You should enjoy every moment of this day and always hold that in your heart that you are somebody, you are a rock star, and there ain't nothing that you can't do. I made the mistake of forwarding my speech to Bob, and he promptly stole half of it, but I need to reiterate something. We should be thankful. We should be very thankful for the opportunity and for the things that we have accomplished here. We should be thanking so many people. Our personal peeps, our family, our friends, our fellow students. But I gotta say, for me, I also need to thank, like, the math department. If you know me, you would not believe I'm saying this. Because math and me are like oil and water, and we do not mix. But I have to say, Jennifer Burrell, wherever you are, Sandy Koki, wherever you are, thank you. You two gave me the first A's I ever got in math, ever. In high school, I had to take algebra twice. I had to take geometry twice. I got A's. Are you kidding me? I got A's here. That is some serious work on y'all's part. They don't pay you enough. But I also want to thank my advisors, mentors, teachers, like Diane O'Hearn, Anna Berry, Shannon Coskren, John Murphy, Herb Heinz, Terry Boyce, Norma Casada, Deb Chown, Shane Hammond. All of these people were part of that village that helped me, and I'm sure some of you, to get to where we are at this point. Other people would be Cher Haruska, who, having just arrived here within a year, has already made her mark. It's all about the students, has done some phenomenal stuff already and will continue to do so, and President Bob Pura. I say that because Bob has always said, if you want to come talk to me, my door is open. He's actually meant that. I have gone into his office, not because of my role as student trustee, but sometimes just because I needed mentoring. He's always made the time. My friends, Brad and Tracy Belleville, Terry and Jack Smith, Will Collins, Kevin Linzinski Jr., Gwendolyn Rogers, Kia Burton McLaughlin, Paul Mark, and a whole host of others. These people got me to here where I'm at. Think about your friends. Think about the people who were there for you. These folks listened to me when I was jumping in joy at an accomplishment, and when I ran into the wall and I was screaming in rage and frustration and tears because I felt like the wall was insurmountable. So we have a lot to be thankful for. And I emphasize that because there are so many people out here in this world, right here in this community even, who will not have that opportunity, who will never have that opportunity. So I say, take this, run with it, and fly as high as you can. Make the most of it. To all the people I just named and so many more I did not name, my heartfelt thanks. It really does take a village. In my case, it probably took 4 or 5 cities, but. So, what I really want to say to you today is never forget where you came from. This is your jump start. This is the kickoff point. Whether it is you're going into a job or whether you're furthering your education, whatever, this is the jump off point, and you couldn't have had a better place to do it from. I want to say personal thanks to all of you parents and friends and supporters, because You brought all these people here, and all these people here, some of you I know, some of you I've just seen around. Many have touched my lives, but all of you have inspired me. So for that, I thank you all, and I also thank all your peeps, because that is big important. I will share with you that while I may have accomplished this and been involved in that, that journey here was not easy. One aspect of that journey was I was supposed to be where you're sitting right now last year, graduating. I failed math. I failed statistics. The only time I failed a math course since attending college. I was supposed to sit on this platform and stand up here and get my diploma, join in the celebrations with all my friends who were graduating last year, and I failed. The hardest thing to do was to want to come up here and sit down and still congratulate all my peeps and all the other students who were graduating, face all these people, because I felt like I had set this bar here as an example. I thought I was supposed to be leading, and I failed. I'll tell you all this because what I found out and what I learned the next day was that the sun still rose. It rose the day after that. My peeps, my family, my friends, my fellow students, and all of these teachers and faculty still respected me just as much as the day before. As a matter of fact, they encouraged me, stand up. Keep going. You can do this. So that's what I'm telling you. Go out there, reach for the stars, keep your wings spread. Do not give up. You can and do anything you set your mind to as long as you say, I can and I will. I want to finish by saying, I challenge you to pay it forward. I challenge you to always remember how thankful you are and the people who were there for you, even if it was just a passing moment in the hallway or standing in a corner of a room while you were standing there at a low point. Pay it forward. Somebody loved your people. They paid it forward by loving and supporting you. Somebody taught all our instructors their knowledge, got them through their trials and tribulations of higher education. They paid it forward to us. You're going to go out there in the world, and there's going to be people who need a helping hand, who need a little bit of guidance, who need a shoulder to cry on, who need just somebody just to listen to them for just a second. Make that second. Make that effort. Pay it forward. Remember where you came from. And know that you are a superstar, a proud graduate of GCC, and there really is none better. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Professor Abby Jenks came to GCC in 1998 with a wealth of experience in the field of mental health and social work. First hired as program coordinator of the Human Service Program, Abby revamped the curriculum and has taught all of the required courses in that program, as well as several courses in psychology. Social justice has always been a theme in her work, and after the onset of the Iraq War, she created a liberal arts option in peace, justice, and environmental studies. Abby is the advisor to the new Peace, Justice, and Environmental Action Alliance and has been a member of the original GCC Response Initiative, now the Peace Education Center Advisory Committee, formed after the events of 9/11, and works in collaboration with other staff and faculty to bring speakers, films, and other events to the campus. As a board member of Traprock Center for Peace and Justice, Professor Jenks collaborates on programming, including the new Roots of Peace speaker series. She is a grassroots peace and human rights advocate, bringing that experience and that connection with the community to her work here at GCC. Abby is a leader in the New England Peace Studies Association and the National Peace and Social Justice Studies Association. Day in and day out, Abby has been living the call to serve and spreading peace in every step. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your faculty speaker, Professor Abby Jenks.
So, what a great day today, isn't it? Yeah. I wanted to dedicate this speech, like Bob, to Maya Angelou, who I believe was a stalwart peace activist who died this week, and she inspired us with her voice and her words. So this speech is for her. I want to begin today by relating the parable of two wolves. An old Cherokee chief was teaching his grandson about life. "A fight is going on inside of me," he said to the boy. "It is a terrible fight, and it is between two wolves. One is evil. He is anger, envy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, inferiority, lies, false pride, superiority, self-doubt, and ego. The other is good. He is joy, peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, and faith." The grandson thought about it for a while and then asked his grandfather, "Which wolf will win?" And the old chief simply replied, "The one you feed." This is the ultimate question that we face today. When I was considering what message to bring here, I began with the idea of defining peace, as I have often asked my students to do. Most of you know that while at GCC, I developed a set of courses on the study of peace, conflict, and violence, born out of my work as a social worker and peace activist. I've learned that these terms of peace and activism carry with it many negative connotations and stereotypes. People think peace activists are old pot-smoking, protesting, unpatriotic, crunchy granola hippies who have unrealistic and utopian ideas. When I say I teach the skills of nonviolent actions, many want to argue with me about how this is impossible, how nonviolent actions aren't realistic, and that I just don't understand human nature. I hear we will always engage in war because it is in our nature. I'm here to say that these are myths perpetuated by old paradigms that don't work anymore, and in fact haven't ever worked well for the vast majority of people. I see my work as simultaneous acts of healing and creating social change to prevent further trauma and violence. In other words, creating a new culture based on moral principles of compassion, interconnection, and meeting human needs. As I define peace, it is not the absence of conflict. Rather, it is learned skills of conflict management that allow the preservation of relationships. Peace is an ongoing process and set of beliefs that require cultivation and nurturing. Peace encompasses how we treat each other, the natural world, and all life within it. Peace goes beyond the absence of war and establishes just and fair treatment of all living things. Peace is true democratic principles and protection of human rights. It is the recognition that we are mostly a cooperative and community-oriented species. Indeed, it is how we have survived. Peace can be manifested in the systems we have created to get our needs met. It can be institutionalized in the culture of an organization that is reflected through the treatment of employees using democratic decision-making processes. It is reflected in the type of product or work that is produced that does no harm to the environment and living creatures. To work towards peace means shedding light on unjust patterns of behavior and thinking. One cannot fight a war on behalf of peace, for as A.J. Muste says, there is no way to peace. Peace is the way. My mother gave me a belief in the need to work towards bettering the world. Before her death in 1968, she worked on behalf of fair housing in our white, affluent town and taught me to care about the plight of others. She had an innate sense of compassion that she transferred to me, and she felt the pain of others deeply. As I grew up and away from home, I became, as a social worker, more adept in this work of helping others and creating change. I was able to develop skills of communication, listening to others, handling conflict, group facilitation and leadership skills, and developing boundaries to be able to remain objective about working with others' problems. These skills have served me well in my current peace work. As I worked with oppressed groups, I recognized that people are not inherently bad, but that their environment is a primary cause of negative behaviors that create problems for themselves and others. Poverty, oppression, and trauma all contribute to the dismantling of our humanity and push us to engage in behavior we might not ordinarily engage in. We are caught in the cycles of violence or poverty or drug addictions. As forms of structural violence, their impact can be no less devastating than being a victim of direct violence. Manifesting peace then becomes a matter of reducing direct violence and working to create life-affirming conditions in order for everyone to thrive. The world and our country are in deep trouble now. I often pause and wonder at how we have allowed corporations to be people and hold the same rights as we do, how money buys votes and is a form of speech, how corporations rule the legislature, how we have more people in prison than in any other nation in the world, how most of those inmates are black and brown-skinned, how we engage in torture, how we spend more on our military than the next 20 countries combined. We have a growing economic divide that keeps getting wider. More U.S. citizens live in poverty, including children, in a country that has extreme wealth and abundance. We are creating legislation to arm the teachers in our schools with the belief that this will keep us safe. Our world and our species may not survive due to global climate change as a direct result of our consumer habits. I ask, how did we get here? The evil wolf is being fed, and we are allowing it by standing by and doing nothing. Yet what has been the saving grace is that I'm engaged in teaching about peace and justice, and I am being simultaneously transformed by studying with those in my peace and human service classes, the students. Being so deeply connected with my students as we struggle to make sense of our beliefs and behavior causes me to feel great emotions, positive ones of joy, love, and respect for their journeys. We explore the material, often with differing and contentious points of view, but the basis of the trust and connection allows us to manage it all and teaches us to listen to understand. This becomes the basis of the transformation that continues to take place within us. My belief in helping others has transformed from one of duty to one of love. As I realized that we are all in this together and that it was through the sense of belonging in a community with shared values that we would overcome. It is the love given me by my students that sustains me. As I give, I receive. I am gifted in so many ways as you step up. We were and are bonded in the very, very difficult work of creating a culture of peace. We are learning to feed the good wolf. Out of this experience, I find hope. There is a global effort to use nonviolent actions more frequently and effectively. There are global grassroots uprisings against the corporate powers whose sole mission is to make money for their shareholders. The people of the world are rallying to create power among each other. My experience of studying nonviolence and recognizing that it is simply a further extension of working through conflict successfully is when I begin to feel the powerful nature of this work. Observing and reading about groups of people who successfully engaged in nonviolent action to fight injustice becomes my inspiration and path. I cannot anymore walk through life without examining my behavior and myself as I try to achieve an integration of my beliefs and my actions. In as simple a context as driving home from work, When I ask myself, how am I behaving on the road in reaction to the sometimes annoying behavior of others? To as complex a thought as how do I speak up against injustice when I'm afraid? How do I voice my concern without causing harm to others? How can I find common ground with those who think differently than I do and stay in relationship with them? Can I even do this? I understand now how becoming an agent for change, becoming participatory in our own governing, leads us out of despair. My students teach me that, and it is through our collective work that change happens. And locally, there are signs of this change. The buy local efforts and the advent of community gardens are blooming. Permaculture practices are taking hold. People are forming communities to address the hazards of nuclear power, to redirect the funds designated to the military and put it towards education, childcare, and health care, and to encourage investment in renewable energy. People are creating legislation to protect our food sources and animal rights. Immigrant rights are being addressed, and new systems to help incarcerated folks regain a sense of place in our community are being formed. We should remind ourselves that it is our job to get our government to do what we want. So what does peace look like for you as you move on from GCC? For those of you in the healthcare professions, it is working to address the injustice of poverty, for living in poverty has health implications. For those of you in business, it is creating cooperative business practices and valuing relationships over profit. For those of you in criminal justice, it is learning when the practice of restorative justice is more healing to the victims, perpetrators, and community than retributive justice. And for those of you in human services, know that reducing interpersonal violence, advocacy, and social change are part of the work. If your interest lies in the social sciences, or humanities, see your work through the lens of promoting social equality and consider taking work that is for the greater good. For all of you, value your relationships and know that we are all in this together. What you do affects each one of us. Today, we must not remain part of the silent majority, for silence is all that the bully powers ask of us. We must begin to develop a collective voice that gives rise to what we want our world to be. We must become actively engaged in creating the change we want to see, in spite of how very hard it is. For peace work is the most difficult work I have ever engaged in. We do it together, yet it's worth every effort. And doing so will inspire us to become our higher selves. We do it together. Find your place in creating change and ask yourself, which of the wolves will you feed? And then go out and join in. Thank you. So, I'm still standing here because on that note, I'm happy to announce that this is the first graduating class to have members taking the graduation pledge of social and environmental responsibility here today. Yeah. So this is thanks to the Peace Club and Human Service Club and other students who've been working hard to institute this into the graduation ceremony, for it is in keeping with the values and principles of GCC. This effort was started in 1987 and has become a national and international effort. Students define for themselves what it means to be socially and environmentally responsible as they go out into the world. So, with those of you who are taking the pledge, please stand up. And I'm going to read the pledge in parts and ask that you repeat it as I say it. So it's like a call and response. All right. I pledge to explore and take into account the social and environmental consequences of any job or activity I consider. Too many words, I think. And I will try to improve these aspects of any organizations for which I work. All right, round of applause, yay! Woo! Thank you.
I add my welcome and my thank you to all of you who have joined us for this special day. It is truly an honor and a glorious part of the event to have you. We know that we are here because of you, and with your support, we will have onward good things coming from these students. So thank you for joining us. I have the opportunity to recognize some students with special honors today, but before I do that, I would like to recognize the faculty and staff again. This is truly a joint journey for us to be here, truly a joint effort. I'm going to call only a subset of the names of the students who are sitting here, but I want to honor all of them. Even though we will call this small group forward, I'd like to have all of us remember when we're clapping and applauding that there are many small victories sitting in these seats. Michael flagged one of them. How many passed math? Yes! Some after multiple tries, and we're here today. Passing A&P, doing advanced English, and then some on the social side. We have parents who are here, single parents, many with multiple jobs, families who've been able to stay together with the challenge of adding homework and maybe even an extra job into that life. We have students here who have continued to fight addictions, who have continued to fight very deep fears and anxieties about coming back to school. We have students here who have lost family members and who remain in the arms of someone who is suffering seriously and in a prolonged illness. We have some who've added babies to the family and young ones, and we have some who've started a new job. We won't be recognizing those names today, but in our hearts we say, yes, good for you. So we do the traditional awards part of the ceremony now, and I am going to call some students forward. The first ones that we're going to do are individual academic program awards. The Accounting Award for Excellence goes to Madeline Roberts. The Criminal Justice Award recognizes outstanding achievement in criminal justice. This year's recipient is Rebecca Holloway. The award for excellence in nursing care this year goes to Andrea Gray. The award for academic excellence in nursing this year goes to Christy Timberlake. The International Student Scholastic Achievement Award recognizes Natalia Masaitis from Russia. The Donald Oberacker Award goes to a graduate who's demonstrated outstanding academic achievement and commitment to the study of science. This year's recipients are Jennifer Christian and Tiffany Kosach. Along with the recognition of individuals, the college honors the achievement of 3 groups of graduating students. The first are the peer tutoring program tutors, and we would like to honor current and former tutors and lab assistants who are participating in commencement. They truly learn as they teach, and they give as they learn, and we're grateful for their help. As I say your name, tutors, please rise and remain standing until all of your names have been read. So we're going to stand in place, please. Ernest Baird, Erica Lynn Brady, Michala Brannon, stay standing, Louis Nathan Chase III, Tara Leah Johnson, Tiffany Kosach, Benjamin Lawton, Jeremy J. Mankowski, Mary Elise Morris, Samuel D. Nelson, David Allen Perroque, Haley Parrott, Natalia Radnov, Wyatt Sherm Martin, Patricia Waitkiss. Thank you, tutors. The second group we'll recognize as a group, and we'll do this again with having them stand, are the Phi Theta Kappa students. Everyone, please note the students who are wearing gold tassels and then a gold stole. This represents membership in Phi Theta Kappa, the Community College National Honor Society, which is recognized worldwide. Will all members of Phi Theta Kappa please rise in place so that we may applaud your academic accomplishment. Thank you. Our third group are veterans. In recognition of their service in the United States Armed Forces, students who have served or are currently serving our country are wearing red, white, and blue honor cords. We ask you to please take note. Will all veterans present please stand in place so that we may applaud your service and thank you. We're honored to have you with us. Thank you. In addition to recognizing the academic achievements of our graduates, the college recognizes also the co-curricular efforts of select graduates and staff with 2 separate awards. Co-curricular may be an unfamiliar term. It means the learning that happens outside of the classroom. It can be workshops, it can be clubs, it can be a variety of activities that let us apply what we learn in the classroom build friendships, and grow the skills that we've learned through our coursework. The first of these awards is the Walter M. Taylor Award. It's named for the first president of the college and is presented to a member of the faculty, staff, or administration who has given outstanding leadership in the development of co-curricular activities. This year's recipient began working at the college in 2012. Since arriving, she's made significant contributions to Greenfield Community College and to our students through her work with students with disabilities and in support of other activities that help students. Over the course of this past year, she has collaborated with students, faculty, and staff to plan and deliver programs that enhance student learning beyond the classroom and in the classroom. One student put it this way: Jessica has been an amazing resource for me in the Wellness Center. She helps to organize activities around autism awareness and advises the Autism Spectrum Club on campus. She's always available for students. It's my pleasure to present this year's Walter M. Taylor Award to Jessica Nadeau. Finally, we give the Charles Green Award. This is presented to a graduating student for leadership in co-curricular activities and development of the community college as a community. The award is named for the first assistant to the president of Greenfield Community College. We are honored to recognize a GCC student for his distinct leadership in co-curricular activities. This year's recipient of the Charles Green Award is Eric Blevin. He's an on-the-hoof version of Give Peace a Chance. Now we are moving into a section that also is important to us, which is to recognize our emerita faculty. I'm going to introduce to you first, ever so briefly, is one of our deans. The Dean of Humanities is going to come forward and provide background for you for why Abby Jenks is receiving emerita status. Leo?
Good afternoon. You've already had a chance to hear Abby speak, and you've had a chance to hear her be introduced by President Pura. And so I'd like you to just retain those ideas about who she is, because at roots, she is a grassroots activist in all senses of the word. Perhaps the highest form of activism is teaching, for it is through helping people explore the world from new perspectives, helping them read histories that are often forgotten, and showing them new approaches to solving old problems that change can occur. Through teaching, students are empowered with new information, new tools, and the ability to think for his or herself. Students are empowered to develop ideas about the world they want to live in and how to make that world a reality. It is for this kind of activism, the activism of teaching, this highest form of empowerment, change, and possibility, that we honor Abby Jenks. For each of Abby's students will tell you about her constant desire to explore ideas, her fiery passion, her deep well of emotion, and her firm sense of justice and possibility. These are her guiding principles, and as a professor, activist, and human being, they inspire admiration and respect. Please join me in celebrating the honor of Professor Emeritus for Abby Jenks.
And we are blessed this year to have a second person that we recognize, and I'm going to call forward another dean, Mary Ellen Feidenkevitz, who is our Dean of Science, currently social science, soon to be nursing as well. And so we're pleased. So I am pleased to have Mary Ellen. Please come forward.
Thank you all. First, can I indulge myself just to say a heartfelt congratulations to all the graduates. I know what this means to all of you. So just... But I'm really here to honor someone very special to all of us, and that's Peter Rosnick. And so bear with me for a minute while I talk a little bit about Peter's journey here. And I might say that this is, what I'm going to read is a compilation of many individuals that have contributed to this, so I cannot take personally did not put this together just myself. There were many of us, so that's what Peter means to so many. We ask that Peter give an emeritus status because of its institutional honor and because he so very much deserves it. This memo begins to suggest all the wonderful contributions that Peter has made to GCC over the last, we'll say, 3 decades, right, Peter? So it would be impossible to put together a single document that would cover all of those, but I'm going to try to just go through a few things of what Peter has meant to so many of us, including so many of you. Consider the Math Connection, the television program, and the Sustainable Agriculture and Green Energy program that Peter so eloquently named SAGE. Consider Peter's tireless enthusiasm for education, for students, for faculty and staff, as well as the broader community. These programs that he's contributed to, how he has seen such a need, whether it be a student, a colleague, or a community, Peter steps up and takes action. He relies on his talent and skills as an educator, as his imagination, compassion, humor, and seriousness to draw others out of themselves and into these critical programs. Ever modest, and I might add that I know that he's cringing right now, because he chooses for us not to acknowledge that all that he's giving. He is always complimentary. He brings out the very best in those he engages in, nurturing their ideas and everything that they do. In the 90s, Peter collaborated with the creation of the Math Connection, which was a cutting edge at that time math TV show that he worked on. Peter crafted original and open-ended problems related to each week's guest presenter on the Ask the Student portion of the show. Many of the teachers who worked with these students encountered open-ended problem-solving strategies for the first time through Peter's initiative. He also co-authored something called the Why Not Ask the Students. Seemed like a naive idea then, but of course now is a very common practice. He works without fatigue, facilitating groups, generating and distilling ideas. He truly believes in sustainable agriculture, sustainable renewable energy, and he lives that in his lifestyle. Peter's 3 primary roles here have combined him as a teacher, a colleague, and a leader. Peter is an exceptional teacher. He's creative, he's passionate, and a caring educator. He allows students to express freely their ideas, share their strategies, and work as a true learning community. He's also been known, from what I've been told, to serenade his class. And I don't know if anyone knows any of the little songs that Peter has sung. If anybody would like to repeat them, you're more than welcome to. But it's not uncommon to walk by his classroom and hear a tune. When Peter worked with students who came to his office to appeal their math placement, he always met students exactly where they were. He then watched them solve each problem, and that he could gain a clearer understanding of what they were and where they were and what they were thinking. So for him, it wasn't an automated process. It was always an individual process. The students often seemed empowered after participating in a final decision whether it went in their direction that they wanted it to go or not. Peter also similarly has encouraged colleagues whom he has served so assiduously as he does his students. A kind and generous and open-minded colleague, he is profoundly interested in people, in knowing and caring for them. The quality of that caring is evident in every interaction we and I have ever experienced and witnessed. He can talk or really listen to anyone. When he asks, "How are you?" he really means it. Still, it is well may be his immediate colleagues in the math department who have been benefited from him in the largest sense. He could always be depended upon to be a math teacher, consulting on how to grade a student's process, how to teach a particular concept, and how to resolve a problematic classroom situation. Additionally, the department often considered Peter its author in residence, writing grants, articles, program reviews, memos, whatever was needed, and with seeming ease. So it is with great pleasure that I talk just a couple of seconds more about Peter personally. So I think you've heard a bit about how important Peter has been to us as a faculty, as a mentor, as a colleague, as a dean. But I'd like to say that now he's going to move on to work with moose tracking, bike riding, and bringing SAGE to the next level. So it's with great pleasure that I would present emeritus status to Dr. Peter Rosnick.
Robert Yakubian began working at GCC in 1971 and retired in 1998. The positions that Rob held during those 27 years were focused on students and their success. Very few who have worked at GCC have done more to lift our students' aspirations or help students achieve their dreams. Rob worked tirelessly and passionately for students every day. And in honor of his life's work, GCC established the Robert Mugar Yakubian Distinguished Service Award. GCC will make this award only on occasion to retiring individuals who have distinguished themselves through the value and degree of service to the college community. Award recipients will have consistently demonstrated exceptional dedication to the advancement of the vision, mission, and principles of the college. I am so pleased to award the Robert Mugar Yakubian Distinguished Service Award to Professor Sharon Roth. Sharon, I simply want to say thank you on behalf of the students that you have taught and the students that they have taught, on behalf of the community that you have served by reaching out to teach the importance of reading, and on behalf of the GCC Foundation on which you served as a board member, for all that you have done to touch the lives of so many for the better. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This award will be placed on the wall of the President's office for all to see.
Thank you. I would ask the graduates who are leaving here, in your next steps, wherever you go, which will be wonderful, to ask yourself one thing: is it good for our children?
Thank you, Sharon. Very few families are as strong in their advocacy of this college from its beginning, from the planting of the seeds from the beginning of its roots than the Cone family, and no one member of the Cone family has been a stronger advocate, a cheerleader, and a passionate supporter of this college. Please welcome the chair of our Board of Trustees, Robbie Cone.
Good afternoon. Congratulations to all of you, not just the students, but your families, your friends, everybody who's here. Not only that, on behalf of the Board of Trustees, we congratulate you. The entire community congratulates you. You've had a wonderful experience here, and I want you to enjoy it the rest of the weekend. But come Monday morning, you're starting all over again. You have new endeavors in which you need to really work hard, just as you've done in the past. And I know most of you really love Greenfield Community College, all the people that have helped you, your teachers, your instructors, everybody. And I can tell you, as a person who went to this college myself over 40 years ago, as time goes on, the love that you have for this college will grow exponentially. And when I think of that, I think of how the community feels about this college. You've probably read in the paper that we're about $1 short of raising $825,000, and for that, it's because of all of you and all of these people. I congratulate you all. You're in charge of your success. You can go as far as you want. Nobody can hold you back but yourself. Don't ever forget that. And with that being said, I want to tell you something. By the authority vested in me by the Massachusetts Department of Higher Education, under Chapter 15A, Section 8, and 22 of the General Laws of the Commonwealth, I, Robert S. Cohn, Chair of the Board of Trustees of Greenfield Community College, am honored to award the Associate in Arts and Associate in Science degrees and certificates to those candidates who, in the judgment of the college, and I want to add, to the judgment of the community, have successfully met the requirements for graduation.
We are going to start recognizing graduates through the Associate in Arts in Liberal Arts. We have first Edna T. Bartlett. Memory Bebe. Elise Bienchette. Brian Brooks. Elizabeth A. Carlton, graduating with honors, also with a certificate in human services. I would like to go back and recognize that Memory and Elise also graduated with honors. Jennifer Christian. Hannah Elizabeth Cleveland, graduating with honors. Catherine Collier, also graduating with honors. I'd now like to call Regina Curtis to join me on stage to present a diploma to her sister-in-law, Cynthia. Regina will provide the diploma to Cynthia Ann Curtis, who's also graduating with honors. Our next graduate is Kamiko Donahoe, graduating with honors. Shannon Renee Dry, also graduating with Kimberly Fritz, also with an Associate in Arts in Business Administration. Mariah Rose Garza, graduating with honors.
All right, Mariah.
Karen L. Gilbert. Casey J. Brandt. Thomasina R. Hall. Michelle Lynn Harris, graduating with honors. Rebecca Hatch, also graduating with honors. Lynn Patricia Hallrock, graduating with honors. Kalendra Hurd, graduating with honors. Gregory Kendall, graduating with honors. Daniel D. Karras. Paul Karras, graduating with honors. Melissa Jean LaValle. Benjamin Lawton. Amy M. Lewis. And now I'd like to ask Judy Ketchum to join me on the stage to present the diploma to her partner, Michael. Michael P. Lewis on their anniversary. Vincent Longo. Lindsay Faye Martin. Alexander Matthew Minor. Regina Wangui Mira. Mary Elise Morris, graduating with honors. Blessed Goma. David Allen Perot. Jane R. Pernovast. Carrie Marie Quinlan. And now I ask Diane Esser and William Roberts to join me on stage to present a diploma to their grandson, Timothy T. Joseph Roberts. Ben Root. Brandon M. Stebbins, graduating with honors. Anisabet Taveras. Brittany N. Terrell. David P. Valaquette Lalonde. Ian Andrew Ventland. Ian Walton, graduating with honors. Jillian Ward. Carrie Wazlowski. Vanessa J. Watroba. Jonah L. White. Alana Williams. Monica L. Williams. Hannah Wilson. Caitlin A. Wood, graduating with honors. Tenzin Youngson. Saba Yassin. Matthew A. Yoder, also with a certificate in environmental science. We switch now to the Associate in Arts in Business Administration, and we start this recognition with Natalia Deek, who has honors. Jeffrey Christic, also graduating with honors, is next. Jeremy J. Montkowski, graduating with honors. Justin Douglas Sessions, with honors. Adam X. Roblowski, also with a certificate in management. We are going to recognize now those students who are graduating with an Associate in Science in Accounting. Our first graduate in this degree is Rebecca Burley Howes. She's graduating with honors. Rebecca also graduates with a certificate in computer-assisted bookkeeping. Heather B. Lamb. Tammy M. La Rochelle. Erica Levitska. Natalia Masidas, graduating with honors. And now I call forward to the stage, please, Diane Esser and William Roberts to join me on stage to present a diploma to their granddaughter, Madeline. And we recognize Madeline S. Roberts with honors, also with certificates in computer-assisted bookkeeping, plus Computer Information Systems General Office Administration. All that by Madeline. Patricia Whitkus is our next graduate with honors. We change now to the Associate in Science in Art and Fine Art, and we recognize Frank Kennerstein with honors. We go next to our Associate in Science in Arts and Media Arts, and we recognize Daniel J. Labrie. We recognize a group of students who are earning Associate in Science, Art, and Visual Arts, and the first of these is Sarah Dupre. Grace C. Gregory. I'd love it. Tiana Normandin. Please, you want to come and help me? Yep. Nicholas Bertrand Teensma. We switch now to Associate in Science, Computer Information Systems. First, we recognize Scott Allison. Alan Labor, Jr. We go now to the Associate in Science in Criminal Justice. First student, Sandra J. Baki. Victoria A. D'Amato with honors. Rebecca Lynn Holloway, graduating with honors. Brian Michael Katowski with honors. Okay, thank you. I would have put the letters in there. This is Wesley William Kramus, Jr. Kayla Mae Pollard. And Cody R. Wells. We change now to the Associate in Science in Early Childhood Education. The first student that we recognize in this degree is Kelly Ferenkek, also with a certificate in Early Childhood Education. Siobhan Hatch, graduating with honors. Amanda L. Martin. Brittany D. Von Felt, graduating with honors. We go next to Associate in Science in Engineering Science, and the first we recognize is Ernest Baird with honors. Degon. David Alfred Degon. Tiffany J. Kosach, graduating with honors. Dawn Elizabeth Nims, also graduating with honors. Jeremy Vando, graduating with honors. Onward in your program, we're going to Associate in Science in Fire Science Technology, and our first graduate is Kelly A. Potts. James R. Young, Jr., graduating with honors. We now switch to nursing. These students we were able to recognize in a pinning ceremony that was scrumptious earlier, and now we're happy to recognize them again. And the first one is Michaela L. Brennan, graduating with honors. Deborah Ann Breer. Yes. Louis Nathan Chase III, graduating with honors. Dmitry Donchev. Anna Gensha, graduating with honors. Andrea Delia Gray, graduating with honors. Bethany S. Harden. Ariana Marie Heyer. Tara Lee Johnson, graduating with honors. Victoria Casanova. Thank you. Susan Lasasse Delisle. Ludmila Davinchuk. Iman Mohammed. Jian Mohammed. Catherine Newport. Bethan Ortiz. Haley Perrette. Todd Perry. Natalia Radnov. Jamie Maria Strakos Hagen. Christy Timberlake with honors. Andrea Williams. Are you ready? We're going to do certificates now. The first is Certificate in Computer Information Systems, General Office Administration, and we have here Krista St. Marie. We have a certificate now, too, in Human Services, Maura Cabrera. Carolyn Murray. Earning getting a certificate in management, Christian Johnson. We are going to honor a group of medical assistant certificate students. I would like you to really be ready for this. They all passed their certificate exam this week, a big deal. Raina Mira Alshnik. Ashley Austin. Christina Bridges. Gail Marie Hescock. Sherry Lee Nash. And Tony Peters. We're pleased to recognize next those who have earned a paramedic certificate. And we're going to start with Nathaniel Jesse Brown. Ernesto Gonzalez. Samuel D. Nelson. Kenneth John Pilastri with Good Company. We end this part of our program with the certificates in renewable energy, energy efficiency, and we start with Eric Christopher King Blevin. And the last but far from the least in our ceremony today is Karen A. Boquillan.
Let's hear it for the great class of 2014. You are the possible, you are the miraculous, and you really have been our greatest treasures. To each of you, we wish you all the very best and our heartfelt congratulations. Have a great time tonight, but be careful and give us a call every once in a while. Congratulations.